World War II, a conflict that redefined the very nature of warfare. And at the heart of this revolution in combat was a machine that would become a symbol of terror and technological might, the Panzer. The name itself, Panzer, is the German word for armor. And in the fiery crucible of the Second World War, no other name would strike such a chord of fear and respect on the battlefield. This is the story of the armored behemoth that spearheaded the Blitzkrieg and dominated the early years of the war. When the world first witnessed the German war machine in action, it was a shock. The speed, the coordination, the sheer overwhelming force, it was a new kind of warfare. Central to this strategy was the Panzer Division. These weren't just individual tanks. They were integrated combat groups, a symphony of steel, firepower, and speed designed to punch through enemy lines, encircle them, and annihilate them. The Panzer I, a light tank initially intended for training, was thrust into real combat in Poland and France. It was lightly armed and armored, but what it lacked in power, it made up for in numbers and speed, giving German crews invaluable experience. But the true evolution began with the Panzer III and Panzer IV. The Panzer III was designed as the main battle tank, intended to engage and destroy enemy armor. Its design was a balance of mobility, protection, and firepower, constantly upgraded throughout the war to face new threats. The Panzer IV, on the other hand, was conceived as an infantry support tank. Its short-barreled, large-caliber gun was perfect for demolishing fortifications and machine gun nests. But as the war progressed, the roles of these two tanks began to blur. The Panzer IV would be upgunned with a long-barreled cannon, eventually becoming Germany's most produced and versatile tank, serving on every front from the scorching deserts of North Africa to the frozen steppes of Russia. Imagine being an Allied soldier in 1940. You hear a low rumble in the distance, a sound that grows into a deafening roar of engines and clattering tracks. Then they appear over the horizon, a wave of gray steel, swastikas emblazoned on their sides. This was the psychological impact of the Panzer. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a tool of terror. Inside the cramped, hot, and noisy confines of a Panzer, a crew of 5 men worked in close harmony. The commander, perched in the turret, was the eyes and brains of the operation, directing the gunner, the loader, the radio operator, and the driver. Their lives depended on their training, their teamwork, and the thick steel plates that surrounded them. This armor wasn't just for stopping shells. It was their sanctuary, their mobile fortress in a world of explosions and chaos. It was their ideal hiding place amid the storm of war. The climax of the Panzer's evolution, however, came with the introduction of the beasts, the Tiger and the Panther. The Panther tank, or Panzer V, was Germany's answer to the formidable Soviet T-34. It featured sloped armor, a powerful long-barreled 75mm gun, and excellent mobility for its size. Many historians consider the Panther to be one of the best all-around tank designs of the entire war. It combined the firepower and protection of a heavy tank with the mobility of a medium tank, making it a deadly opponent on the battlefield. And then there was the Tiger. The Panzer VI Tiger I was a monster. Its development was a direct response to the unexpectedly heavy Soviet armor encountered on the Eastern Front. When it first appeared in 1942, it was virtually untouchable. Its 88mm gun, adapted from the legendary Flak 88 anti-aircraft cannon, could knock out any Allied tank at ranges where they couldn't even hope to scratch its paint. The Tiger's thick, flat armor could withstand almost anything thrown at it. A single Tiger tank could hold off an entire company of enemy armor, becoming a legend in its own time. The names of tank aces like Michael Wittmann became household names in Germany, their exploits with the Tiger fueling the propaganda machine. However, this power came at a price. The Tiger and Panther were complex, over-engineered machines. They were incredibly expensive and time-consuming to produce. They guzzled fuel at an alarming rate and were prone to mechanical breakdowns. While a Panther was a match for any Allied tank, Germany could never produce them in the numbers needed to turn the tide of the war. For every one Panther rolling off the production line, The Allies were churning out dozens of Shermans and T-34s. The industrial might of the United States and the Soviet Union was simply overwhelming. As the war turned against Germany, the role of the Panzer changed. No longer were they the tip of the spear in an unstoppable blitzkrieg. Instead, they became mobile defensive platforms, desperately trying to plug gaps in the collapsing fronts. They were used in fierce counterattacks and last-ditch defensive stands, inflicting heavy casualties on the advancing Allied forces, but always being pushed back by superior numbers. The final designs, like the Colossal Tiger II or King Tiger, were even more powerful, but they were too few and too late. They represented the pinnacle of German tank design, but also its fatal flaw, a focus on quality over quantity, a pursuit of the unbeatable superweapon that drained the resources of a nation already on its knees. Inside these tanks, the crews fought with skill and desperation. They were often young men, caught up in the machinery of war, fighting for their homeland. The powerful main gun of their Panzer was their primary tool, capable of delivering devastating high-explosive rounds to shatter enemy positions or armor-piercing shells to duel with other tanks. The explosions they created could change the course of a local engagement, buying precious time or securing a vital objective. For many German soldiers, the sight of their own panzers arriving on the scene was a massive morale boost, a sign that they were not alone. The legacy of the Panzer is complex. They were instruments of a brutal conquest, yet they were also marvels of engineering that pushed the boundaries of technology. They revolutionized armored warfare and set the standard for tank design for decades to come. The principles of sloped armor, powerful long-range guns, and crew ergonomics seen in tanks like the Panther are still fundamental to main battle tank design today. The story of the Panzer is not just a story of steel and firepower. It's a story of innovation, desperation, victory, and defeat. It's a testament to the crews who fought and died inside them, and a stark reminder of the destructive power that humanity can unleash. From the light Panzer I to the monstrous King Tiger, these armored fighting vehicles left an indelible mark on the history of the 20th century, a legacy forged in fire and steel across the battlefields of World War II. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through the history of the Panzer tank. If you found this documentary interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into military history. Let us know in the comments which piece of military hardware you'd like to see us cover next. Until then, stay curious.